All right, we have some other news to tell you about, too. Big changes in Omaha, Nebraska this week, and the business community at large is taking note. Warren Buffett has officially stepped down as the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, the company that he built over the last 60 years, and he's handing over the reins to Greg Abel. Buffett remains chairman, of course. That announcement from Buffett about this transition coming back in May at the company's annual meeting, it was a surprise not only to the shareholders, but to most of the board and to Abel himself. So what changes for Buffett today? Listen to what he told us just a few days after that surprise announcement.
Everything will be the same. I will come in. I won't be up there speaking at the annual meeting, but I'll be in the director's section. Maybe you'll interview me at the halftime or something of the sort. Who knows? But Greg will be the decider. He can't imagine how much more he can get accomplished in a week than I can, or a month. I mean, he just, and at the same time, he's not a distorted individual. He likes to play ice hockey with his kids, and he lives what would look like a normal life. And my guess is that if the neighbors didn't know who he was, they wouldn't have any idea that on January 1st, he is going to be the decider on a company that employs close to 400,000 people and has got plans to be around 50 or 100 years from now. And who knows what will happen, but it has a better chance, I think, of being here 100 years from now than any company I can think of.
Abel is inheriting a Berkshire company with a huge stockpile of cash. It was over $381 billion as of the end of September. And after a year when the company gained just over 11% versus the S&P, which was up by almost 17%. Abel, of course, will run all of Berkshire, having the final say on both investments and holding companies. Buffett offering some high praise of his successor. Listen into that as well.
And Greg's operated more than I have when you get right down to it. I mean, he's gone over to England to run something. He went to, he came to Omaha one time to run a business for a few years, and there's no secret formula that only CEOs have or anything of the sort. So I'd rather have Greg handling my money than any of the top investment advisors or any of the top CEOs of the United States.
That is a huge endorsement.
It is a huge endorsement, but it's an endorsement we've made, and I am going to have him handling the money of the, in effect, he knows business.
So does Warren Buffett, and in fact, he is going out, guys, after 60 years with probably the most impressive compound interest record of anybody in history. Berkshire shares, I think I saw a statistic the other day that said they could drop more than 99%, and they still would have outperformed the S&P 500 over his 60 years running Berkshire.
Absolutely. I mean, so it's going to be unrivaled forever. I think what's really fascinating is how the character or the sort of profile of the company might evolve under Greg Abel. I've always assumed it was going to be a lot less about, the invest in public shares of other companies, that portfolio manager type approach, even though it's going to be there, right? You have all these great investments. I just wonder on the operating side what that means and if it's going to be more centralized or how that really does break from here and how the market views. I mean, the underperformance this year, first of all, beat the average stock. It was up huge into May on the exact announcement. And
right, and it was up huge until he announced he was stepping down. But I don't think it has collapsed as some people thought it would at some point.
Not at all.
Without Buffett being there.
That's right.
That's important, too, that continuity.